I said I'm not going anywhere, and you can't make me. Adaeze's voice cut through the Okafor mansion like a blade. She stood at the top of the curved staircase, her designer silk nightgown flowing behind her, mascara running down her face in angry black rivers. Below, her parents stood frozen, suitcases already packed and waiting by the door. Chief Nnamdi Okafor, the man who commanded boardrooms across Enugu, the man whose word moved millions of naira, looked up at his daughter and felt something break inside him. Not his resolve, something deeper, something that had been cracking for years. Adaeze, calm down now. His voice was quiet, controlled, dangerous. No, you're trying to send me to some village prison, some backward school in the middle of nowhere. I won't go. I'll run away. I'll call Uncle Chidi. I'll tell everyone you're abusing me. Lolo Chioma Okafor moved toward the stairs, her wrapper rustling softly. My daughter, please, we're not punishing you. We're trying to save you. Save me? Adaeze laughed, wild and bitter. From what? From having a life? From being happy? You're jealous, both of you. You're old and boring and you want to make me miserable like you. If you're watching this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to take you on a journey you won't forget. Drop a comment and let me know if you've ever met someone like Adaeze or maybe you are that person yourself. The words hung in the air like poison. Chief Nnamdi's jaw tightened. He had built everything for this girl. The mansion, the cars, the international schools, the trips abroad, everything. And this was what he had created. A monster in designer clothes. Pack her things, Chioma. We'll leave in 20 minutes. Daddy, no! Daddy, please! Suddenly, Adaeze's voice changed, became younger, softer. She ran down the stairs, her bare feet slapping against marble. Daddy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Please, don't send me away. She grabbed his arm, pressed her face against his expensive agbada. For a moment, Chief Nnamdi wavered. This was his baby girl, his only daughter, the child who used to climb into his lap and fall asleep during evening prayers. But then he remembered yesterday, the way she had treated Ngozi, her housemaid. The girl had brought Adaeze's breakfast 30 seconds late, and Adaeze had thrown the entire tray at her. Hot tea had scalded Ngozi's arm, and Adaeze had laughed. He remembered last week, the school principal had called again. Adaeze had been caught extorting money from younger students, threatening to have her father destroy their parents' businesses if they didn't pay her. He remembered 3 days ago, Mrs. Ekwensi, her wife's friend since university, had come for afternoon tea. Adaeze walked in, looked the woman up and down, and said loudly, "Mommy, why do you let poor people into our house? She's making everywhere smell like market." Mrs. Ekwensi left in tears. The friendship of 30 years had ended in that moment. Let go of me, Adaeze. Chief Nnamdi's voice was ice. Daddy, I'll change. I promise. I'll be good. Please. You've promised before. 73 times. I've counted. He gently removed her hands from his arm. Your mother and I have failed you. We gave you everything except discipline. We gave you comfort, but no character. That ends today. I hate you. The tears vanished instantly, replaced by pure venom. I hate both of you. You're the worst parents in the world. When I'm grown, I will never speak to you again. Never. Lolo Chioma wiped her own tears and walked past her daughter without a word. The housemaids, Ngozi and Obioma, stood in the doorway to the kitchen, watching silently. For once, Adaeze saw something in their eyes that made her stomach twist. Not fear, not anger, pity. 30 minutes later, the Mercedes pulled away from the mansion. Adaeze sat in the back seat, arms crossed, staring out the window with swollen eyes. She had screamed herself hoarse. She had threatened. She had begged. She even tried to run, but the gateman stopped her, following Chief Nnamdi's orders. Nobody spoke during the 3-hour drive to Nsukka. The landscape changed from city to country, from paved roads to red dirt paths. Adaeze watched her world shrink away. No more shopping malls, no more fancy restaurants, no more air-conditioned comfort. When they finally arrived at Ugochi Memorial School, Adaeze's heart sank into her expensive sneakers. The buildings were plain cement blocks painted fading yellow. The compound was dusty. Girls in identical simple uniforms swept the grounds with actual brooms, not the kind of cleaning that happened invisibly while you slept. A woman emerged from the main building. She was perhaps 50, with grey threading through her tightly braided hair. She wore a simple wrapper and blouse. No makeup, no jewelry, but something about the way she moved made Adaeze shrink back. Chief Okaho, Lolo Chioma. The woman's voice was warm but firm. And this must be Adaeze. Good afternoon, Madam Ifeoma, Chief Nnamdi said, shaking her hand with visible respect. Madam Ifeoma Nwanko, head matron of Ugochi Memorial School, turned her full attention to Adaeze. Her eyes were not unkind, but they saw everything, every lie, every manipulation, every ugly thought. Welcome, my daughter, she said simply. Adaeze looked away. I'm not your daughter. The silence that followed was suffocating. Chief Nnamdi moved forward, anger flashing across his face, but Madam Ifeoma raised one hand gently, stopping him. It's all right, she said, still watching Adaeze with those penetrating eyes. She will learn. Lolo Chioma pulled Adaeze aside, her hands trembling as she gripped her daughter's shoulders. Please, Adaeze, please just try. We love you. We are doing this because we love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't leave me here. Adaeze's voice was flat, dead. Her mother's face crumpled. She pulled Adaeze into a desperate embrace, kissing her forehead, her cheeks, her hair. My baby, my precious baby, you will understand someday. You will thank us. Adaeze stood rigid, refusing to return the embrace. When her father stepped forward, she turned her back completely. Chief Nnamdi's voice was thick with emotion. Madam Ifeoma, she's yours now. Do whatever is necessary. Break her pride, but don't break her spirit. Teach her what we fail to teach. I will guide her, Madam Ifeoma promised. Trust me. Adaeze watched her parents climb back into the Mercedes. She waited for them to change their minds, to run back, to rescue her. But the car pulled away, red dust rising behind it like smoke, and then they were gone. Come, Madam Ifeoma said, let me show you your dormitory. I'm not staying in any dormitory. My father will come back. He always comes back. Your father has paid for 2 years in advance. He's not coming back, Adaeze. Not until you're ready. 2 years. The words hit Adaeze like a physical blow. 2 years in this place? She looked around wildly, searching for escape, but the compound was surrounded by high fences. Girls were everywhere, watching her with curious eyes. Pick up your bag, Madam Ifeoma instructed. That's not my job. Someone else does that. Here, everyone does their own job. Pick up your bag or sleep outside tonight. Your choice. Adaeze stared at the woman in disbelief. Was she serious? But Madam Ifeoma's face showed no hint of joking. After a long moment, Adaeze grabbed the handle of her designer suitcase and dragged it behind her, hating every step. The dormitory was worse than she imagined. 8 metal bunk beds crammed into a room that would have been her closet back home. The walls were bare except for a wooden cross and a fading poster about hygiene. The windows had no curtains. The floor was concrete. This is your bed, Madam Ifeoma pointed to a lower bunk. Make it. Make it? Adaeze looked at the bare mattress, the folded sheets and blanket placed on top. Yes, make your bed. You have 10 minutes before dinner bell. I don't know how to make a bed. Then you will learn. 10 minutes. Madam Ifeoma walked away. Adaeze stood frozen, staring at the sheets. Other girls filed into the dormitory, some glancing at her with amusement, others with indifference. One girl, tall and dark-skinned with a prefect's badge on her uniform, stopped directly in front of her. So you're the rich girl from Enugu, the girl said. Her name tag read, Blessing Okonkwo. We've heard about you. Good for you, Adaeze snapped. Blessing's eyes narrowed. Let me tell you something, small girl. Your father's money means nothing here. Your attitude means nothing here. Here, you are nobody. Just another student who needs correction. Get out of my face. Or what? You will call your daddy? You will throw a tantrum? Go ahead, I'm waiting. For the first time in her life, Adaeze felt genuinely afraid.
At home, people backed down. They always backed down. But Blessing wasn't backing down. And worse, Adaeze could see other girls gathering, forming a quiet circle, waiting to see what would happen. I asked you to make your bed, Adaeze. Madame Ifeoma's voice cut through the tension. She was back, standing in the doorway. Why is it not done? I told you I don't know how. Blessing, show her. Blessing's smile was cruel. Yes, ma. She grabbed the sheet and began making the bed with quick, efficient movements. Watch carefully, rich girl, because I'm only showing you once. Adaeze watched, her face burning with humiliation. It looked simple enough. Tuck the corners, smooth the blanket, fold the top edge. But when Blessing stepped back and Madame Ifeoma told her to unmake it and do it herself, her hands fumbled. The sheet wouldn't stay tucked. The blanket bunched up. The pillow kept sliding off. Pathetic, someone whispered behind her. She can't even make a bed. And she thought she was better than us. The laughter was quiet but cutting. Adaeze felt tears burning behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She wouldn't give these people the satisfaction. Stop, Madame Ifeoma said. Adaeze, you have failed a simple task. Do you know what happens when you fail here? I don't care what happens. You will kneel outside my office until dinner is finished. Maybe hunger will teach you respect. You can't do that. That's abuse. That's illegal. My father will sue you. Madame Ifeoma's expression didn't change. Your father gave me permission to discipline you as I see fit. Now kneel or add another hour to your punishment. Adaeze felt the world tilt. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. But Madame Ifeoma was already walking away, and Blessing was smacking, and the other girls were filing out toward the dining hall, and she was alone. She didn't kneel. She stood there, defiant, arms crossed. 30 minutes later, Madame Ifeoma returned. Still standing, I'm not kneeling for anyone. Very well. No dinner tonight, no breakfast tomorrow, and you will scrub the bathrooms before morning assembly. I won't do it. Then you will kneel until you will. Madame Ifeoma's voice was patient, almost gentle. Adaeze, you can fight this as long as you want, but I promise you, I am more patient than you are stubborn. I've broken girls tougher than you. Not broken their spirits, mind you. Just broken their pride, and yours is screaming to be broken.
Adaeze's knees hit the ground at midnight. Not because Madame Ifeoma forced her, not because anyone threatened her, but because her legs simply gave out. She had stood for 6 hours, refusing, resisting, her whole body shaking with exhaustion and rage, and hunger that gnawed at her stomach like an animal. When she collapsed, Madame Ifeoma appeared from the shadows as if she had been waiting. She carried a tray with jollof rice, plantain, and water. Eat, she said, placing it on the ground. Adaeze wanted to throw it in her face. She wanted to spit at her feet. But her hands moved of their own accord, grabbing the food, shoving it into her mouth. She ate like she had never eaten before, tears streaming down her face, humiliation and hunger mixed together into something that tasted like death. Madame Ifeoma sat beside her on the concrete floor, saying nothing, just sitting there while this broken girl ate and cried and ate some more. Why are you doing this to me? Adaeze whispered, her voice raw. I'm not doing anything to you, my daughter. I'm doing something for you. There's a difference. I want to go home. Home is not a place, Adaeze. Home is who you are inside. And right now, you have no home. You are lost. You've been lost for a very long time. You don't know anything about me. Madame Ifeoma smiled sadly. I know everything about you. I was you 35 years ago. Different city, same story. My parents were wealthy too. I was cruel too. I thought the world existed to serve me. Adaeze looked up, surprised. You? Me? My father sent me to a school just like this one. I hated him for it. For 2 years, I hated him. And then one day, I woke up and realized he had given me the greatest gift any parent could give. He had given me myself back. I don't understand. You will. Madame Ifeoma stood, helping Adaeze to her feet. Come, let me show you to your bed. tomorrow is a new day. That night, Adaeze lay in the narrow bunk listening to the breathing of 7 other girls. The mattress was thin, the pillow was flat, the blanket was rough. Everything was wrong, everything was terrible. But she was so exhausted that sleep came anyway, pulling her down into darkness. The wake-up bell at 5:30 in the morning felt like torture. Adaeze groaned, pulling the blanket over her head, but Hans yanked it away. "Get up, rich girl, morning duties." Blessing stood over her, already dressed in her uniform. "Leave me alone. Madam Ifeoma says you are on bathroom duty this week. With me. Lucky you." The bathrooms were worse than anything Adaeze could have imagined. 8 toilet stalls, 8 showers, all used by dozens of girls, all needing to be scrubbed clean before breakfast. Blessing handed her a bucket, a brush, and a bottle of disinfectant. "Start with the toilets. I'll do the showers." Adaeze stared at the toilet bowl, at the brush in her hand. "I can't do this." "You can, and you will, or you don't eat, again." Blessing turned away, already spraying down the shower stalls. Adaeze's hands shook as she knelt down. The smell made her gag. Everything in her screamed to run, to refuse, to fight. But her stomach was empty, and her pride was crumbling, and somewhere deep inside, something whispered that if she didn't do this, she would break completely. She scrubbed, and cried while she scrubbed. By the time she finished all 8 toilets, her arms ached, her knees were raw, and her uniform was soaked with water and sweat. "Not bad," Blessing said, inspecting her work. "For a first try, you missed some spots, but you'll learn." It wasn't praise exactly, but it wasn't mockery either. Adaeze didn't know what to do with it. The first week passed in a blur of tasks she had never done, rules she didn't understand, and punishments for breaking those rules. She burnt rice during kitchen duty. She swept dust back and forth without actually collecting it. She folded her uniform wrong and had to do it 17 times until Madam Ifeoma approved. But something was changing. Slowly, painfully, like bones resetting after a break. By the 2nd week, she could make her bed properly. By the 3rd week, she stopped complaining about bathroom duty. By the 4th week, she realized that she hadn't thought about her father's Mercedes or her designer clothes for 3 whole days. And then she got sick. The malaria came fast and vicious, burning through her body like fire. She woke one morning unable to move, her head pounding, her body alternating between chills and sweats. The other girls called for Madam Ifeoma immediately. Adaeze expected to be sent to some clinic handled by strangers. Instead, Madam Ifeoma moved her to the sick bay, a small room with 2 beds, and personally tended to her. For 3 days, Madam Ifeoma was there, bringing soup, wiping her forehead with cool cloths, giving her medicine, sitting beside her bed through the worst of the fever, holding her hand when the nightmares came. "Why are you doing this to me?" Adaeze whispered, delirious with fever. "Because you are my daughter now, and I take care of my daughters. I was so mean to you. I'm so mean to everyone. You were hurt, Adaeze. Hurt people hurt people, but healing people heal people. You are learning to heal." When the fever finally broke, Adaeze walked to find Madam Ifeoma asleep in the chair beside her bed, her head tilted at an uncomfortable angle, a cold cloth still in her hand. Something inside Adaeze's chest cracked open. Not broke, opened like a door that had been locked for years. Her own mother had never sacrificed sleep for her. Lolo Chioma loved her, yes, but the housemaids had always done the actual care, the feeding, the bathing, the midnight comfort. Her mother had been too busy with society events and church programs. But this woman, this stranger who owed her nothing, who had every reason to hate her, had stayed. Adaeze began to cry. Not the angry, manipulative tears she had cried before. Real tears. Grief for the person she had become, shame for the pain she had caused, and something else that she didn't have words for yet. Madam Ifeoma woke, immediately alert. "Adaeze, are you in pain?" "I'm sorry," Adaeze sobbed,
I'm so sorry for everything, for how I treated you, for how I treated everyone. I'm sorry. Madam Ifelma pulled her into an embrace and Adaeze clung to her like a drowning person to a rope. I know, my daughter. I know. And I forgive you. Now forgive yourself.
The girl who returned to the dormitory after her illness was different. Not completely transformed, not yet, but softer around the edges. The other girls noticed immediately. "Welcome back," one girl said shyly. Her name was Chiamaka Eze, a quiet junior student who had always kept her distance. "Thank you," Adaeze replied and meant it. Even Blessing seemed surprised. She watched Adaeze carefully over the next few days, waiting for the mask to slip, for the old Adaeze to return with her venom and her pride. But it didn't happen. Instead, Adaeze asked Chiamaka to show her how to fold her clothes the way the school required. She apologized to the kitchen staff for burning the rice weeks ago. She stopped complaining during bathroom duty and just did the work. Months passed. The rainy season came and went. Adaeze's hands, once soft and manicured, became calloused from work. Her face, once always carefully made up, learned to be bare and still beautiful. Her voice, once sharp and cutting, learned gentleness. She started helping younger girls with their homework, patiently explaining mathematics the way her teachers had patiently explained things to her. She defended Chiamaka when some senior girls tried to bully her, standing up without cruelty, just firmness. "Leave her alone," Adaeze said simply. "She's done nothing to you." The senior girls backed down, confused. This wasn't how power worked in their world. Power was supposed to be loud and aggressive, but Adaeze's quiet authority was something different, something they didn't know how to fight. Blessing cornered her one evening after dinner. "What's your game, Enugu girl?" "No game, I'm just trying to be better." "People don't change, not really." "Then I guess I'm the exception." Adaeze met her eyes without flinching. "I was terrible, Blessing. Terrible to you, terrible to everyone. You had every right to hate me. You still do, but I'm not that person anymore, or I'm trying not to be." Something in Blessing's face shifted. Her armor cracked just a little. "My mother was a housemaid for people like your family. They treated her like that, like she was nothing. When you came here acting like you are better than everyone, it made me so angry." "I understand. I'm sorry. Not just sorry I got caught or sorry I got sent here. Actually sorry for who I was." Blessing studied her for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, she held out her hand. "Truce." Adaeze took it. "Truce." They didn't become best friends overnight, but they became something more valuable. They became two people who understood each other's wounds and chose not to make them worse. When midterm holiday arrived, Chief Nnamdi and Lolo Chioma came to collect her. She saw the Mercedes pull into the compound and felt a strange mix of emotions, excitement to see them, but also reluctance to leave. Chief Nnamdi and Lolo Chioma stepped out of the car and Adaeze saw immediately that they were bracing themselves, expecting the worst, expecting the old Adaeze to come screaming at them with accusations and blame. Instead, she walked up calmly and hugged them both. "Hello, Daddy. Hello, Mommy. I missed you." Lolo Chioma burst into tears immediately. Chief Nnamdi's eyes were suspiciously bright. "My daughter," he whispered, "is it really you?" "It's me, the real me, the one you are trying to find." The drive home was filled with conversation, real conversation. Adaeze asked about their lives, their work, their health. She didn't demand anything. She didn't complain. She just talked to them like they were people she cared about. When they arrived at the mansion, Ngozi and Obioma, the housemaids, stood by the door, visibly nervous. They remembered the old Adaeze, the throwing, the screaming, the cruelty. Adaeze walked straight to them. "Ngozi, Obioma, I owe you both an apology, a real one. I treated you terribly. I was cruel and spoilt, and I made your lives miserable. I'm sorry, truly sorry. Can you forgive me?" Ngozi's mouth fell open. Obioma started crying. They both nodded, unable to speak.
Over the next week, Adaeze shocked her parents daily. She made her own bed. She helped in the kitchen. She cleared her own plates. She spoke to the staff with respect and kindness. She even insisted on doing her own laundry. "Adaeze, you don't have to do all this," Lolochioma said, watching her wash dishes alongside Obioma. "I know, Mommy, but I want to. I spent 14 years not knowing how to do anything for myself. I don't want to be that helpless again." Chief Namdi pulled her aside one evening. "I need to tell you something. When we dropped you at that school, I cried for 3 days. Your mother cried for a week. We thought we had lost you. We thought you would hate us forever." "I did hate you for a while." Adaeze took his hand. "But Lolochioma taught me something. She said that real love sometimes looks like cruelty to people who don't understand it yet. You loved me enough to make the hardest decision of your lives. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you for not giving up on me." They held each other and cried, and it was the most honest moment they had ever shared. When holiday ended, Adaeze returned to Ugochi Memorial School willingly, even eagerly. Her final term there became legendary. She was made junior dormitory prefect. She led morning devotions. She organized study groups. She became the person other girls came to when they needed advice or comfort. At the end of year character development talk, Madam Ifeoma asked her to share her testimony. Adaeze stood before the entire school, no longer the arrogant girl who had arrived in designer clothes, but someone stronger, someone real. "When I came here, I thought I was being punished. I thought my parents hated me. I thought this place would destroy me. But I was wrong about everything. This school didn't destroy me. It saved me. Madam Ifeoma didn't break me. She rebuilt me. And I learned something that changed my life. Discipline is not your enemy. Discipline is direction. It's love that refuses to settle for less than who you are meant to be." The applause was thunderous. Girls she once looked down on were standing, cheering for her. Blessing was crying. Chiamaka was smiling. And Madam Ifeoma, standing at the back, her tears streaming down her face. Graduation came too quickly. Adaeze received the Most Improved Character Award. When she hugged Madam Ifeoma goodbye, neither of them wanted to let go. "You did it, my daughter. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't have done it without you. You saved my life." "No, Adaeze, you saved your own life. I just showed you where to look." Adaeze returned home permanently, but she was not the same girl who had left. She enrolled in a new school with humility and purpose. She volunteered at local orphanages. She started a mentorship program for younger girls struggling with entitlement. She became the daughter her parents had always hoped for, but more than that, she became the woman she had always been capable of being. Years later, she would return to Ugochi Memorial School as a guest speaker, successful and grounded, to tell new students her story. And she would always end the same way. Don't wait for life to break you before you choose to change. Choose it now. Choose discipline. Choose growth. Choose to become who you are always meant to be. If this story touched you, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more incredible transformation stories. Drop a comment below and tell me where you are watching from and share one thing you learned from Adaeze's journey. Remember, no one is beyond change. Sometimes the hardest decisions lead to the most beautiful transformations. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep becoming the best version of yourself.